What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Out of the Gate here on a Monday. You know what that means. We kick off another week of live racing right here at Parx. Track Announcer Chris Griffin in the Parx Racing studio. No guests today. I'm starting to line up some more guests for later on this year, and it's beautiful outside once again as we start to get into the spring, right? Is today the first day of spring? First day of spring is pretty recent, but we got a lot of great things coming your way. We got 10 races on today's card. We got the Philly Big Five. We got a carryover jackpot. It continues to climb here. We'll see what happens there in the Philly Big Five. We got an interview coming up later with trainer Bobby Mosco. But first, let's take a look back at last week. We saw a lot of good winners, a lot of good performances. This is the Parx Playback. Let's take a look at last week. Parx Playback time on Monday. It's most definitely Oscar season. May I have the envelope, please? The winner for Best Supporting Jockey to a Horse was Luis Ocasio aboard Hollywood Gina for the win. Oh, a horrible start. But wait a minute. Who is that? Who is that? It's Pumpernickel, who gets all the bread in a much the best performance. One nation under a groove, funkadelic indeed, as Jamie Rodriguez and Jamie Ness team up with a Monday winner. Tuesday action. All I do is win. I win no matter what. Got money on my mind. And every time I step up in the building, everybody's hands go up. Get the W. Got one in Tuesday's fourth. The buck stops here. Bucks County. Winning Bucks. Bucks some with a big-time close and grabbing the victory. American Unity, powerhousing away in the stretch, and it was Frankie, don't call me Chad Pennington, aboard the winner. And finally on Wednesday, good grief, he's not a clown. He's downtown Charlie Brown. With a big win in this Pennsylvania town, he was 7-2, so hope you got the bet down. Frankie, don't call me Chad Pennington. That's a solid line right there. That's the Parx Playback. We'll have more of those coming for you each week here at Parx. We got 10 races coming up on today's card. Let's handicap, take a look at race number 1, try and get you some winners here on this Monday afternoon. Going to go a mile and 70 yards. This is before I've got the scratches and changes. So if there are scratches and changes, I'll get those adjusted here in just a moment. But a mile and 70 yards. The number 6 in here, Special Risk. It just seems like, you know, off the claim, Miguel Penaloza, Dexter Haddock, they've done nice work together. Now they team up here, going to be towards the outside, only 4% first off the claim. That concerns me a little bit for the barn. So we'll see, though, where Special Risk, this 8-year-old mare, does end up. She's 0 for 5 this year in 2022, but she's got 10 lifetime victories, 19 second-place finishes, and 16 thirds. She's been a very honest racehorse. Now she goes into the new barn, off of a third beaten 9. Quiet Please beat her by 7.5 lengths last time. I do think she can make up some of that ground, though, and I think Special Risk with an outside draw, gets good position on a fast main track on a really nice day here in Bensalem, the 6th top choice in the opener. Race number 2, we get into another mile and 70-yard race, open $5,000 claiming race in here. Spring Emperor, I mean, this horse, if you go back to the form, runs for 7,500, wins by 7+ lengths, and we're going to take a look at that race in just a second. Then runs for 10,000. Finishes 9th beaten 12, so just a little too tough, right? And a little tough at the 10,000. Drops down to the 5,000. What happens? Horse wins by a length at the $5,000 level. They go back up to 15,000, and now today, we're back in here for the open 5,000. It just seems like Spring Emperor is in the right spot. Look at this performance. When Spring Emperor ran for 7,500, this is not the $5,000 claiming win, but watch this. Red cap, in behind rivals. You'll get to the top of the stretch, and this is going to be a big performance here from Spring Emperor, who was a huge number. Horse was over 25-1 that afternoon. Returned a huge price in there, but Spring Emperor is going to split rivals, closes well, finishes the job, is not going to run like a 25-1 shot. Luis Rivera has really gotten to know this horse quite well. If he goes back to this run at the $5,000 level, Spring Emperor is going to be really tough to handle in there. This is a pretty good race, though. I mean, there are some different ways you can go. So interested to see how the handicappers take a look at it. You can tweet me at In the Grandstand if you ever want to give your comments on your selections. But I'll take Spring Emperor in today's second race. I haven't looked at the subscribers yet, but we got those race replays. We got more Parx fanatics, great interviews. Go on over to the YouTube channel. Tell your friends and family. I think we moved on past that point. Now, anybody that you see when you just cross paths with them in your life, tell them to hit that subscribe here at Parx Racing. Hear more about the YouTube channel. Want to thank all the people that have subscribed already and just keep jumping aboard here, joining us at Parx Racing, seeing more and more content added every single day. We get into race number 3, a mile and 70 yards, 7,500 non-2 lifetime in here. The number 3, Austin Wiley. I'm going right back to Luis de Rivera. This just looks like a race. Take a price. Look for a little bit of a number. They're going to add blinkers. I think that's pretty important in here. If you go back to some of Austin Wiley's runs, yes, the blinkers weren't really working out. But the horse comes off of a win at the maiden $10,000 level, 2 starts back. Maybe they just found the right level. They go back and put the blinkers on. I think this horse sits a nice trip. Horse is also won at this distance. So again, this is before scratches and changes, but I like the 3 quite a bit. Lou Loves the River is a big closer. We're going another 2-turn racing here, a mile and 70 yards. Andy Hernandez knows this horse quite well. But I'll take Austin Wiley at a little bit of a number, 6-1 on the morning line. Might even float up just a touch. The 3 is the top choice, putting the blinkers on, and I think meets the right field here at the level. Race number 4, maiden $10,000 race in here, mile and 70 yards. Once again, we're going to say a mile and 70 a lot, right? 2-turn races here on a Monday. A great for Carolyn. She's forwardly placed. She's got early speed. If she's with the leader, she's going to be very tough to handle in here. There is just not a lot of speed in the race. There's not a ton of horses that like to be up front with the early action. And I think if a great for Carolyn, second off the layoff, Juancy Vasquez, Jorge Gonzalez teaming up. Lou Loves the River, kind of interesting. Watch how Lou Loves the River does in the previous race, because Lou Loves the River won that maiden $10,000 race that a great for Carolyn is coming out of. So a great for Carolyn, if we see a little progression from the first start to start number 2 off the layoff, that horse looks very well met. Short price there in today's 4th race. Race number 5, 6 furlongs the distance, 10,000 with that condition as we've seen. Sprint race in here. The number 7, Hey 19, I'm going to take a shot. Ruperto Perez had Mr. Fantasy, got that horse going in the right direction. This horse has got early speed, has always seemed to have that early kick. It wasn't that long ago that this horse was running in those allowance type races, optional claiming, drops down to the $7,500 tag. Was a beaten favorite in that spot by Reiterate, who's back into this spot. Reiterate has a rail draw this afternoon, is going to be a shorter price. I think you get a lot of value here from Hey 19 for a barn that does well with this type of move. 19% first off the claim. Ruperto Perez, an outside draw. He's won 7 races this meet, 34 starters, 7 wins, 7 seconds. 14 out of 34 times they have been in the exacta, and you're going to catch a number. So Hey 19, Edwin Rivera will be aboard here for the first time. Gets aboard the 4-year-old filly with an outside draw. Horses won at this distance. I like this horse a little bit there in race number 5. I think it's a tough race. It's a tough little sequence there in some of those middle sequences. I think you can find some value, so good luck to you out there if you're playing some of those pick 4s, as we always like to do here at Parx. You can tweet me at In the Grandstand at Parx Racing, and we're going to find out more about one of the trainers we got on the backside. He trains Admiral Abe, among others. He's been a fixture here on the East Coast. He continues to win races here and has really done well in the last couple weeks, if you've taken notice. But here we spent some time on the backstretch with trainer Bobby Mosco. Trainer Bobby Mosco is based here at Parx Racing and remembers the early days of enjoying horse racing.
Like 1970, I used to go to the track with my father. We used to go to Liberty Bell, Garden State, all the tracks, you know, Dover Downs, all kinds of tracks. And I don't know, I just took to it. I just loved it. And my whole family, they used to go to races all the time. So I would just go as a little kid, and as I got older, I just liked it more and more. And you know, we started watching the Derby and watched Secretariat win, and I was like 13 then, and all that it just grew on me, and it was really, really interesting. And plus, what my family did for work in construction, I was a little kid and did that. I didn't want to do that.
Mosco connected with a well-known trainer as he learned the sport of horse racing.
Actually, in 1980, I got a job working in the spit box. A friend of ours worked for the state, and he got me a job, me and my cousin. And about a year later, I started working for Alan Iwinski. He was a trainer who used to come from Detroit. And since 1980, I've been here.
Alan Iwinski taught Mosco how to train and how to run a stable.
He was a very good trainer, and he made you work at everything. You had to know everything, you had to do everything. And I'll never forget one thing he always told me: if you ever train horses, never ever lie to the owners. If they can't take the truth, it's not worth it, you know, having them, because you can't. You got to be honest, because they're going to catch you in a lie sooner or later. So I'm like, yeah, that's good advice.
Bobby Mosco is upfront and honest when talking to his owners.
They know if there's only 2 reasons I'll call them: and they're neither one's good. Something's wrong with the horse or I need money. And they all know that, they all get that right away. But now most of my owners are friends of mine, but except for a few guys that live out in California, but I just tell them the truth. The horse is doing good, we're in the right spot, anything can happen. It's a race. You know, you never know what's gonna happen.
What does Bobby Mosco learn from each horse in his training?
It's just good horses. I don't really pinpoint to a certain thing. I do like getting horses that are routers and shorten them up as a closing sprinter. I've had a lot of success doing that with horses.
What race does Bobby Mosco think about, and what advice does he have for up-and-coming trainers?
Everybody's dream is you know what, but I don't have that kind of, or that type of horse. So winning with Abe in an allowance race or deal driven, I'm good with that. Be prepared to work 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and just really pay attention to whoever's teaching you, because there's a lot of guys around here that have a lot of knowledge, and you need to know that. You really do. You just can't walk in here and think you know what you're doing. You gotta pay attention to whoever you're working for.
Special thanks again to trainer Bobby Mosco for letting us spend some time back there and being able to talk about his barn, some of his runners, and Admiral Abe and some of those nice horses, and just how he came up here on the backside here, right here at Parx Racing. Race number 6 started the Philly Big 5, and we start to see this carryover jackpot continue to climb. Let's take a look at that number going into this afternoon, $41,253.71. Remember, we got over $500,000, so we got a long way to go as far as the carryover jackpot is concerned there. But take a look at that number. Not bad here for a Monday afternoon. It's a jackpot bet. It's always the last 5 of the day. Pick 5 format, 50-cent minimum. I think you could put together a ticket in here. From a jackpot standpoint, we'll see. You got to catch some prices in the sequence, but it's an interesting little puzzle to put together here when you get into the Philly Big 5. And again, it's beautiful weather outside right now, so looking forward to a fast main track. Race number 6 at 1 mile and 70 yards, 7,500 non-4 lifetime in here. And when you take a look at the outside runner in the 8, as I get my notes organized, Sour Mash on the class drop, this has to be the day. If Sour Mash on the big drop here to 7,500, this horse was running for 12.5, 15,000. Horse has got speed. The tactics will be kind of interesting. Kind of usually from when I've seen as far as the wins are concerned, if you go back to that $12,500 effort that was back there in, what was that, back in December, this horse settled off the pace, sat right in behind the pace setter, opened up in the lane, and was clear. This horse might just be faster than everybody else in here, might be on the front end, and might find herself maybe a length in front, 5-year-old mare, Pennsylvania bred. On this class drop down to the 7,500, Sour Mash, she definitely fits. She's going to be a short price. Is she a little vulnerable as a favorite? Possibly. I mean, when you take a look at a favorite like this, it starts off your Philly Big 5 sequence, that there could be some question marks on a class drop like this. She might be one that maybe better say we're going to play against in this spot, and I can't really knock you if you do that. So we'll see how Sour Mash does perform in today's 6th race. Race number 7 furlong starter race in here. I'm going to go with the number 6 in Esperancita. The thing about Esperancita, numbers-wise, when you take a look at her efforts, her numbers continue to improve, but she's undefeated. She's a good-looking gray, 4-year-old filly, Pennsylvania bred that Ernesto Padilla Preciado, they've just done really nice work together, and she loves to win. I mean, she's got heart, and she knows where the wire is, so no matter what she's been running, she just seems to be running better than the other horses in that race. Am I convincing you that she's a slam dunk at 9-5 here as a short price favorite? That one would be a little tougher because you've caught her at a price in all 3 of her races. Now you see she's won 3 in a row. Now you understand that the price is going to drop. Yes, but are we seeing something special here with Esperancita? And oh, by the way, on March 16th, she works a bullet drill, best of 36 move at 47-4. You'll see her. She's a good-looking gray. She'll be up on the outside. She's got a big kick, and she likes to win races, so we'll see how she does. Race number 8, 6.5 furlong state-bred allowance one in this spot. Another tough race, ET's Moon Maiden. When you take a look at this horse in here, the start will tell you what you needed to really find out from that effort, and then you watch this horse finish 3.62 for me in this spot. And when you take a look at this run, the horse just broke from the gate slowly, kind of walked out of the gate. You're going to see it here from the gate. There's ET's Moon Maiden. We're not going to show you the stretch run, but this horse comes rolling. I'd like you to go back and watch that replay if you can. If you go back and watch this replay that was back in March, on March 2nd, look at how far back this horse is. The horse is going to be 5-1 in the morning line. Does get a rider change. Jeremy Laprida is going to be aboard this afternoon. Gustavo Chacon, second time out, 3-year-old filly. She's facing older. That is a little bit of a challenge here in this spot. But if she can get back to that effort, maybe she's got a little bit more ability. And if she can break with the rest of the field, I do think that that puts her in contention. Contention, actually, is the word. Let's find out what our performance of the week was last week. It was a big performance by a horse named Pumpernickel. Pumpernickel had a horrible start, was able to rally around the field. Frank Pollara, Nancy Lyons, Sylvester Gonzalez teaming up with the win there. Our performance of the week. Pretty fun name too, right? Pumpernickel. Race number 9, you get into the late double in here. I'm going to go 8-2-5 in this spot. This is a tough race. It's tough to figure out who to really zero in on. Chelsea Wall, I think Dexter Haddock with an outside draw again. I kind of like the outside post this afternoon, it does seem. Maybe settles off the pace. Talia Ladybug, she's got speed. She's going to go right out to the front. She's going to have some company with her. It's really going to come down to, can Chelsea Wall not be that far back off the pace, and if she's going to be able to finish a bit stronger this afternoon. I do think that there's going to be plenty of speed up front. I'm not sure how fast they're going to go, but I do think they're going to be moving quickly with Talia Ladybug in there. So I think that really sets up for a horse like Chelsea Wall. She'll probably be wide, but I think she'll be rolling late in this stretch. Race number 10, as we get set to close things out. This was another one when you take a look at, at 1 mile and 70 yards, when you're taking a look at this 10th race, we're going to the outside once again. Hopefully the outside posts are doing well. Carmeltini, she sits the right trip. She won last time out. Scott Lake goes in. They claim the horse. And I think that Carmeltini, I'm interested to see how far back she's going to be. She was making a big move as they were coming into the stretch run in her last start. Usually, sometimes she gets a little further back than if you're looking for closers. Maybe you don't want to see them that far back. But I think first off the claim, with the Scott Lake barn, they've done well, 18% with this type of move. Ruben Silvera is going to take the mountain here for trainer Scott Lake. There's a lot of things to like there in the 10th and final. We'll see if she gets the right trip from a far outside post. But Carmeltini, for the new barn, I think she can close things out for your leading rider, Ruben Silvera. Don't forget, if you want to follow us on all of our social media platforms, you can check us out. And our social media presence is growing here at Parx Racing, because not only can you hit that subscribe on YouTube, not only can you follow on Twitter, not only can you tweet that guy at In the Grandstand, but also don't forget that we've got Facebook now, we've got Instagram now, and we've got all kinds of different content that we're bringing your way. So make sure you're joining us all season long here in 2022. We appreciate you, the fans and the bettors. That's us on Twitter, at Parx Racing and at In the Grandstand. Check us out. Hit that subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Parx Racing on Facebook. And Instagram, it's Parx_Racing. 10 races coming your way. A gorgeous day here in Bensalem. 3 days of racing coming up. I'll be back next week. Maybe I'll have more guests coming at you soon. Tweet me at In the Grandstand who should be on the show next. We'll see you next time. Have a great week of live racing at Parx Racing. Good luck.